Hello everyone, welcome to Head First Manufacturing, and today we'll talk about Indian auto component industry and we'll get into some of their challenges and we'll discuss it in detail. The Indian auto component industry is basically of two types: the organized sector, the unorganized sector. The organized sector provides high precision auto components to the OEMs, while the unorganized sector provides less precision parts to the aftermarket. If you talk about the subsectors of the auto component industry, it can be classified into engines, engine parts, transmission, chassis, plastic components, auxiliary components, batteries, motors, suspension, tires, and whole lot of other things. They can be various micro categories. Now leave this aside for a moment. How many of you know about the General Motors EV1 project? Just about 1,000 of these EVs were produced and given on lease to customers in US before the entire project was shelved in 2003. Was it done deliberately? That you have to answer. After General Motors EV1 disaster, the EV industry stayed in a limbo for some time, and then the Tesla came and it was a huge success. Everyone knows that. Their Model 3 became one of the best selling EV in the recent times. The world is now on the verge of EV adoption. Every country is pushing for it. But do you know what Indian auto component manufacturers are planning? What is their strategy? What they think about it? Let's discuss it further. The world is now on the verge of mass EV adoption, and we need to think what's in the mind of auto component manufacturers in India. India being the fourth largest automaker in the world. Auto component manufacturing companies in India believe that internal combustion engines are not going to leave the roads for at least next 10 years. Both will move simultaneously, and they are putting their efforts on both the verticals. For example, Minda Industries Limited has done a joint venture with Frevo AG, a German manufacturer, for supply sockets and e-drive solutions. Similarly, Bharat Forge took a stake in UK-based electric truck manufacturer Teva Motors. And you must know that Sundaram Fasteners, part of the TVS group, they have already established a 100 crore business for their EV vertical. We need to understand that EVs account for less than 1% automobile sales in India. For the consumers, there might be several challenges like what will be the range, or whether we'll get charging stations. These are the concerns for the consumer, but for the auto component manufacturers, there are some other concerns. They feel that their sales in the aftermarket will decline by 8% in the next 5 years. The reason being, EVs have limited moving parts, 30-40 parts, but internal combustion engines have 20,000-30,000 parts, and the greater the parts, more are the chances that customers ask for part replacement, and then these auto component manufacturers have to supply these parts in the market. So this is one of their concern. But there are another set of people in the same industry that believe that it's hardly a matter of concern, because if you see EV versus internal combustion car, lots of components are similar. The suspension remains the same, the driving system remains the same, the braking system, tires. So lots of components will stay as it is, right? So they believe it's a game of volume, and as the demand will increase, the volume will rise. This won't really matter. There's another concern that EVs will make parts like clutches, gears, radiators obsolete. These parts will be replaced by batteries, motors, battery management systems. Most of this demand will be fulfilled by new startups. OEMs will also join the game, but at the moment they are watching how these things build up. The world is watching serious penetration of software in this industry. It will be more about marriage of hardware and software. For example, in the future, all the mirrors will be replaced by cameras, and the views will be provided by LCD screens within the cockpit. Software accounted for 15 to 20% of the component in the earlier vehicles, which has grown to 30% currently. This will grow to 60% by 2025. This is a tough transition for automakers to change themselves. That is the reason they are trying to do collaborations and tie-ups. It's a do or die situation. For example, Toyota has partnered with Panasonic for battery production. Similarly, Suzuki has partnered with Denso and Toshiba for battery manufacturing. It's quite likely that soon big OEMs and auto component manufacturers may set up their own semiconductor plants, may set up their own software development companies that will support the manufacturing of EVs, that will support the software required in those EVs. Today, many Indian automakers are trying to export their products to Europe and America. The reason behind this step is that they don't want to totally rely on the domestic market until and unless this EV versus IC things get settled down and there's a stable demand for one type of vehicle. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll come again with another interesting topic for you guys. Thank you.